on how quickly property tax burdens can grow. I walked a little bit late, so I didn't hear if that was discussed and if the rationale was provided as to why that's a good idea. Adjust for population growth, adjust for inflation. It's a structural limit. Governments tend to always grow themselves, so this puts a structural limit in place. But it also accounts for appraisal growth. So it doesn't matter how quickly appraisals grow, because it'll automatically mean that tax rates will ratchet down if that was implemented to adjust for that. So can anyone talk about, I didn't hear that since we've been here, why that from a policy perspective in terms of structurally limiting government is such a good idea? And what is the political opposition to enacting reform legislatively like that, as the other gentleman asked?
We came into session, Senator Bedford had a bill to, I don't recall what he had filed, what the filed version here has, but I think it was a 4% cap on revenue, because the reality of it is an appraisal cap, which I supported appraisal caps, and those type things are nice, but you need to just cover the entire issue, which is rate and appraisal, so that would be income or revenue. So I think Senator Bedford had it at 6. They took it up, 4 is the final version, I think, and then they took it up to 6% and did not have the votes to get it out of the Senate committee. The gentleman from Houston asked the question, if you're blessed and lived in like the Clear Lake part of Houston, the gentleman in front of you, Representative Dennis Bonnen, passed a bill out of my committee and that actually created a 6% revenue cap on local government. And I want to be clear, the big mistake that's made on revenue caps, and I don't want to only say that part because that's the opposition to your question, that's the opposition that comes in, is, oh my God, then what would we do if we needed more money? All it does is create the most democratic thing in the world, in my opinion, which is says, if you need to go beyond 6%, go educate your voters, have an election. And if they believe that the reason you need to do that, if maybe there's a new road that everyone desperately wants built, and that's why, go get them. And your voters have told you that. And I'm not being cute about it. I've told local officials, if I were you, I would want that. Because you've now been given a vote of validation by your voters that you're raising a tax or revenue is okay by me. I agree with your reasoning. Or they're going to tell you, I don't agree with your reasoning, and stop. And so the reality is, it is a challenge to do that. But Dennis Paul passed that bill out of my committee. I'm proud of him, and I'm proud of my committee for getting that done. We did not get it. It was late because the Senate, and I'm not blaming the Senate kind of led on that issue, and so the House was waiting for the bill to come from the Senate. That bill never came. So we didn't get it to the full House, which I don't want to be disingenuous. I think it did. Question of whether it would have passed the House. I'm not saying it wouldn't have, but I'm not going to sit and say, oh yeah, we would have slung that thing right on over there. But I think it's misunderstood some of the time that we're not stopping you at 6%, which I think is kind of high. I do it at 5 or 4, frankly. We're simply saying, have an intelligent, educated discussion with your voters and your taxpayers. Just explain what you're doing. It's no different. I'll be quiet with this, y'all. Actually, it's no different than a bond election. You go out, you explain why you're doing it, and the voters either say you're doing right or you're not doing right. It's that simple.
We'll have to actually end there, folks, but I want to let you know that the